if they are late, then let it be late. So let's see if right now I think we are recording. And so far I see there are just 2 people. All right, so maybe we're gonna wait a few more seconds. And okay, I see Yvonne, I see Diana. Welcome to the classroom, guys. It's a new webinar environment we have here, so take a look around and maybe say hi in the Skype in our chat window, because right now I posted some. Okay, I'm gonna type right now, hello everyone, and maybe you will see my typing. And hi everyone. All right. Yeah, and could you please type also something? So I would like just to make sure that you are familiar with or getting yourself familiar with that new software. Hello, Roman. Hello, Caroline. Okay, perfect. People are coming. Very precise. Very good. Guys, okay, perfect. I see one already handled, Olga also. So please spend that 1 minute which we have right now in our kind of as a free time for you to get familiar with that new software. Well, I was using Adobe Connect for many years, and now I, for some reasons, first of all, related to finances, and another thing is I really would like to use some modern, more flexible platforms as well, not to be stuck with one. So last week, if you probably know, if you attended last week webinar, I tried Hangout on Air, and I found it totally unsuitable for my particular type of webinars and training. So I will explain later if you would be interested. It's very good stuff for any other type of presentations and webinars, but the way I work now and the way I used to work, it's not suitable at all. So, all right, guys, it seems like everybody is handled how to work with our software. So let's move around. And guys, last time, because we were really not able to cover material, and if you attended the first webinar, we were going through beliefs, yeah. And the idea of the first part of our learning is to make sure that we understand what belief is and what the structure of belief is. Before we go into the reframing techniques, before we go into the reframing strategies, it's really very useful to have some knowledge about what belief is, what the structure of belief, and how to approach beliefs. And also, everybody probably knows in coaching we have a term, limiting belief. So also quite, I would say, quite useful to understand and be on the same, I would say, note or in the same position. What do we all mean when they say the belief is limiting? And how to find limiting beliefs, how to make investigation, how to make research, and make sure that we found the limiting belief. So after that, we could start apply some intervention, and the reframing would be one of those powerful interventions. What we do with the limiting beliefs. So as a result, what I would like us to do, first of all, is to go very quickly through material of the first webinar, because I know that some of you are not able to attend it, and I think it would be a good foundation for us to move towards conversational reframing topic as you see it right now on your screen. Okay, guys, do you agree? If you agree, could you please type yes, agree, or clear? I mean, I just want you to be with me. And I'm not enabling your microphones right now, but I would be asking you definitely to type time to time. So please get into that kind of communication typing mode. For me, it's important that you are with me and you are paying attention to everything what is going on in the classroom. So the first thing, as I usually do, you see that the picture on your screen. So I would like you to remove all distractions and really devote your time and be here fully, because that multitasking thing is not really very helpful when it comes to learning. I mean, you are just not here and you are not anywhere. So better to eliminate all the distractions and just be with in the classroom for 1 hour. And I think that you're gonna have you're gonna benefit from that much in a higher level than you you will if you allow those distractions to come over. And before we move forward, I also would like to literally very few words to say about Headway Learn and Practice Lab, because it's a new service. The idea of the service is quite simple. I was running business school for coaches. For the last 9 years, I was working in that kind of business school for coaches, where I was running small and big programs. Yeah, and usually program, it means like few months or sometimes an annual program, like a 1 year. You're working with me for weekly basis. Yeah? And you have a home assignments, and we are working through building your business or improving your coaching skills or whatever. So the format, the way we worked was like a program like, and the payment for that particular service was quite intimidating for many people. Like annual program could cost, I don't know, £800. So it sounds already like quite a substantial investment. So I decided that it's time for us to move for the broader public, and I disassemble the whole service. And right now we'll be working. I will make separate announcement about that, but I am moving everything into the subscription type of level, and subscription will be really symbolical. I think 20 something pounds, maybe 28 euro or whatever. So it's not as dramatic, but you're gonna have access to all the programs, all the courses. You could attend business related type of webinars or coaching growth, as you have now coaching practice related webinars. We are gonna have community coaching circle where you can practice everything already included in the price. So there will be totally kind of reconstruction of the whole service, because the main idea is to go broad and allow people to, for a small amount of money, really get value. So people would not be intimidated with the terms, like half a year, 1 year commitment. Not everyone can do it, but on a monthly basis, it's easier. So people could have 1 month and then have a break and then get into the again monthly period of attending. So in the future, that's the idea of the lab. Everything what we were able to create and all the knowledge, everything what we know in a business school, it will be on a monthly basis through Learn and Practice Lab or laboratory. Yeah. So that's briefly about what to expect. But right now, please don't be concerned. Everything free of charge, and we will be doing webinars for a while totally free. It's no rush, but eventually I would introduce that kind of subscription type of a tendency. Right now, what I usually do in a normal training environment, I usually ask people 4 questions. And right now you see that activity number 1. Guys, now we're going to skip it, because I really want to be very kind of concise and not, we have just 1 hour. So I will not be going through normal kind of type of, but you see right now on your screen, maybe you will find it useful in the future. So when your people are coming into the webinar or session, usually you need to set up some kind of mindset, the mindset of attendees in the right direction. So by asking, what do you know about that particular subject, you already some kind of preparing their mind, to wonder. Yeah. Because if right now I ask you, what do you know about conversational reframing? That would be the question to ask you. And then you will be already thinking about that. You will be trying to kind of to formulate it in your own words. So everything will be kind of already going into the preparation type of webinar environment. So in the future, when you'll be working with your attendees and running your own webinars, I think you might find those questions useful, because usually 5 minutes, you know, uh, going through that particular questions with your attendees, with participants of your webinar, they already set very, very good environment. Yeah, people are ready to move on. But right now we are going to skip it because of time. And yeah, later I will send you PDF file of this presentation. So don't be concerned if you are not able to catch anything, you know, or write down something. I enabled recording. I hope recording will be, we'll see how that software will handle it. But what I expect is recording to be ready, and PDF file of the presentation will be ready. So no worries, yeah? Yeah, everything will be kind of accessible and no problem. Let's go for beliefs briefly. I gave two different definitions of what beliefs are, or what is the definition of beliefs. The first one is like a common knowledge. Yeah, usually if you Google or go to Wikipedia, you will see that kind of belief. That beliefs are judgments and evaluations. Judgment and evaluation about what? About ourselves. That's the first thing. About other people. Yeah, and about world around us. So those are three components, like about us, other people, and world around us. What is it? It's judgments and evaluations. So it's pretty much a lot what you say in the session actually will reflect what beliefs are, what your beliefs are about yourself, about other people, or about world around us. In NLP, we use a little bit more specific one, and I'm gonna just very quickly go through the NLP definition. So beliefs are considered to be closely held generalizations. Yeah. So guys, generalizations. I just want you to, I'm curious if you are familiar with NLP and if you know what generalizations are. You could say yes, I'm familiar, or yes, 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 or you could even type what do you think generalization is, yeah, or some kind of in your own words. I'm not expecting you to have any kind of classical or correct definition, but I just want you to have some kind of idea. I think my guess would, you could easily guess what generalization is from kind of common sense. Yeah? It's actually, we use that term in NLP, yeah, generalizations. But I'm just curious if you have any. Okay, yes, 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 perfect. All right, familiar. Great. In this case, let's not waste time. You're familiar what generalizations are. So closely held generalizations about what? And that's, guys, please pay attention, because practically we are going right now into the domain of the structure of beliefs. You will see later that when it comes to belief, we'll be searching for that particular part. The first part is causation. So cause effect, yeah. So there are certain particular relation between elements inside of the belief structure. And causation means that one is the cause for another. I think it's more or less clear what causation type of relationship is. The second type of relationship is meaning. So if in first part one is the cause for another, in this particular relationship one means other, yeah, or the meaning are the same. So I will, if something is not clear right now, please don't be concerned, because we're going to have lots of examples where we are talking about meaning, where we are talking about causation. But those parts, meaning and causation, pretty much those relationships which we will be looking inside of belief structure. Yeah. And second thing is, yeah, we are talking about closely held generalizations about boundaries, yeah, limitations. Yeah. Boundaries about what? About world around us, about our behavior, about our capabilities, about our identities, and so on and so on. So as you can see here, maybe if you're familiar with logical levels, you could already see, okay, now we talk about 4 logical levels out of 5. Guys, yeah, you see the world around us is circumstances, yeah? Then we have capabilities, behavior, identity. So what is missing here? If you remember from NLP, there are 5 logical levels. Now you see on your screen just 4. So if you remember, please tell me, please, which logical level is not here. If not, it's okay if you don't remember, no problem. But it's kind of obvious, more or less, if you're familiar with the structure of logical levels, that we cannot include that particular logical level which is missing, because that's how we give definition, yeah? The missing logical level is the level of beliefs. Right now we are defining beliefs as, that's what usually comes, in linguistics, somehow we use other words in order to define these particular ones, yeah? So as a result, we are defining beliefs using other logical levels. Well, so beliefs and values, that's correct. Totally agree with you, Diana. Beliefs and values, they are kind of in the same level. So when you say beliefs or values, they are pretty much belongs to the same level. So if you remember logical levels is circumstances, yeah, then capabilities, behavior, behavior, capabilities, and then beliefs, values, and then identity. Yeah. So beliefs and values are on the same level. All right, so let's move. So that's how we see, now you see on your screen the definition in NLP, neurolinguistic programming, how we give the definition to beliefs. Closely held generalizations about causation, meaning, and boundaries. Yeah, and boundaries about what? Yeah, about limitations or boundaries about world around us, our capabilities, identities, and behavior. Okay, so let's move on. And now, right now, guys, I don't understand what that particular, yeah, and now we have some kind of green line, which I don't remember if I had it before. Let me just see if I can annotate. Guys, I'm trying some elements of the new software. So annotations, and we will be running those things. Okay, let me move it a little bit closer here. Okay, so I think it's going to be more comfortable. And yeah, you could also draw. If you can click on annotations, you're supposed to see some kind of tools where you could enable draws or text or whatever. So I will be also experimenting, because that software for me quite new. So yeah, let's talk about this particular relationship. Okay, it's a line. Yeah, okay. I thought it's going to be some. Okay, this one. This one. Okay. So now we're gonna use this particular tool, and I'm asking you, between first and second element, tell me please what kind of relationship is. Yeah, I think it's, I hope it's going to be more or less obvious, but I would like you to pay attention and to type it. So between first and second element, right now on your screen you see 3 elements. Yeah, the middle one is rectangular, the right one is kind of circle, and between you have had, yeah, I've had it all the time, exactly, Caroline. I'm not sure what that green line is, and I need to double check. Maybe it's a part of the picture, maybe I don't remember me having that green line. But anyway, so let me just click, for example, clear, and see if it will clear all drawings. Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, I draw it myself, now it's clear. So it was my drawing when I was practicing with the software. I thought it's really strange, kind of. Okay, guys, relationship between first and second element is going to be cause effect. I hope it's more or less clear, because the first one is cause and second is effect, yeah, or evidence. And the relationship between first and second part is going to be cause effect. And relationship between second and third part is going to be that particular evidence or effect for your client means something or represent certain particular value or criteria. So right now we are talking about different types of relationship inside of the belief structure. And right now I would like you to come up with some particular belief statement which you could easily imagine that you could hear it from your client. So guys, could you please type any kind of belief, and right now we are going to be practicing very quickly. That's what we've done in our first webinar, but I would like you, because lots of people came without attending the first webinar, I think it would be very useful for you to practice, first of all, your understanding of belief structure. So right now, the structure of belief, as you can see it on your screen, is supposed to have 3 elements. And the first part has a relation cause-effect. So let me use my drawings again. Here, relationship is cause-effect. Oh, someone already also used some green connection. And here, guys, is going to be meaning type of relationship between second and third element. So I expect you guys right now to write down any kind of example of belief which you could consider as a, oh, it doesn't necessarily need to be limiting, any kind of belief statement. So tell me please what you think about yourself, others, world around us. So give us please some kind of judgment or evaluation. That's what beliefs are, right? So I expect you to write down something which we would consider and play with. Okay, Yvonne, I need to go to accomplish inner peace. One of my clients said, my activities all seem so casual, like doing whatever makes you happy. But actually, I do want to go for a moment of choice where I'm going to focus on the future, making a plan to realize long-term goal. Wow. Okay, that's not an easy belief to. It's not even. So I need to. I need to have something, guys. Something more kind of refined and simple. Otherwise, we will be drawn into the very tough type of work. So let's elicit some kind of belief here. My activities seem so casual. So. Okay, my boss doesn't understand me. Perfect, Olive. That's great. That's more or less simple and concise. Change is very uncomfortable and hard. Perfect, Caroline. That's great. And Yvonne, could you please do a little bit of work and create or elicit some particular clear statement, belief, what you think in that particular paragraph which you passed, because you gave us lots of information. It's very interesting, but right now I would like to have some very simple type of statement, because when we start with the new things, it's easier, to work with the simple stuff and not to complicate things too much. Yeah. And Iran, it's difficult to earn money. Perfect. That's great, guys. Let's start with that. And please go on. I never had the time, Diana. Very nice. So let's first with the let's go with the first statement. Olivia, my boss doesn't understand me. All right. So first of all, guys, take a look at the screen and tell me, my boss doesn't understand me. Where do you think that particular statement fits? What kind of elements do we have here already? Any kind of cause effect? Any kind of meaning? Or maybe just one particular element? Maybe just value here? Maybe just evidence? So try to figure it out. My boss doesn't understand me. What do we have already? If you look at that structure of belief, which right now in front of you. So take your time, guys. It's not easy, guys. That material which right now we are covering is completely deep and fundamental. So don't expect like so you immediately easily digest everything. It requires a little bit of uncertainty. Every time when we learn something new, we are not quite sure. So when you are not quite sure something is not clear, congratulations, you are learning. I mean, that's the only way you learn something new, because you have kind of not a full clarity about that. If you right now have a full clarity, then you are learning nothing. Yeah, you already know it. Yeah. So okay, Jen, effect and criteria. Okay, my boss doesn't understand me. Okay, any other opinions? Evidence. Yeah. Okay. Any other opinions? Well, my point of view here that we are pretty much in the area of meaning or criteria or values. Understanding means something for he. I'm not sure what my client really based on when he said my boss doesn't understand me. So I'm not quite sure what makes you say that. And quite natural, exactly. That's what I think, the value or criteria somewhere. I think we are somewhere here. Let me just use again my tools. I'm gonna use in this time maybe a different color, like for example blue one. Let's see if it's gonna work. And drawing this one. Yeah. So I believe that we are somewhere here. So whatever happens with my client, he come up with the with certain particular criteria or value that something is the evidence for him that he come to conclusion that boss doesn't understand him. So the very natural question, guys, would be for us is to clarify and move this particular way. Yeah. So somehow get into the missing points investigation. So what would you ask your client in order to clarify this middle part which is missing? What kind of question? Could you please formulate the question which would be very natural when your client said, my boss doesn't understand me? Take your time. So what happens? Please tell me. Okay, yeah, or tell me more. All right. What makes you think that? Exactly, Yvonne. Yeah, perfect. What makes you think that? That's pretty much elicitation of evidences. Yeah. Or in which way? Yeah. All those questions, guys. Some of you more precise, some of you less precise. I mean, what I like about all your questions is that it's still investigation. But in order to go through belief structure, I would recommend to ask what makes you say that, or what exactly, what kind of things you have, and or you base your conclusion on. Yeah. So why you think that? Or what makes you think that, or why did you come to that conclusion? So one way or another, we need to go back to the left. Yeah. From this particular meaning, value, or criteria, or conclusion, we are going into the elicitation of evidences. And guys, right now I would like you all to use your imagination and tell me, whatever client could potentially tell us. Yeah. So let's just imagine the client said, yeah, my boss doesn't understand me. And you as a coach, you ask, what makes you say that? Or why do you think it is? Or what that conclusion you based on which particular facts? Yeah. And so it's all will be elicitation of the effects and evidences. And what do you think he could tell us, that client? Again, let's just use imaginary, in what way does your boss not understand you? What way? Okay. Boss argue all the, okay, the imaginary client tell us, boss argue all the time with me about work. Boss argue, okay. He's always putting me down. Okay, that's another. Olive, you're coming with another belief or statement. Putting you down, it's another value and criteria. So I'm not even sure it's evidence or effect. So we're supposed to, so if it's a nice example, by the way. So you see that Olivia said, he's always putting me down. So it's that particular statement almost the same as the previous one. Boss doesn't understand me. I said, what makes you say that? And the client says, he's always putting me down. Well, what makes you say that? Because it's not, there are no evidences. So far, there are no evidences. So, for example, boss argue all the time with me about work. Okay, that sounds like evidence, yeah? He doesn't listen to me, okay? All right, so maybe it is evidence. So because my boss doesn't listen to me, or because my boss argue with me about work all the time, my conclusion is that it means those evidences mean to me that he doesn't understand me. So as a result, we are going to have the third part of the full belief statement, and we have a middle part. So by asking that, what makes you say that, and we are going to investigate and eliciting missing part, evidence and effect. Yeah? Okay, guys, is it more or less clear? Okay, he ignores what I say and never takes into account. He ignores. Yeah, perfect. So that's a definite, for that person, it means, you see, that evidence means the boss doesn't understand me. Yeah, now we have a clear connection between that evidences and value and criteria which our client stated, in the first place. So now we have two parts. What would be the next natural way or next natural question for us to ask our client in order to clear this particular part, which still is missing? Yeah, the cause. Guys, could you please type questions which you think would allow us to elicit cause? I'm gonna clean my old drawings just to make it a little bit cleaner. All right. And I'm expecting you to type the question which would allow us to investigate the first part, the cause. Why exactly? Perfect. Jen, I like it. Why? Why do you think this happened? Why do you think he ignores what you say and never takes it into consideration? Yeah? Why he is arguing all the time about work? Why he doesn't listen to you? Or why he's always putting you down? I mean, that if we consider that this is the evidence, all those evidences and effects, we could say, what do you think is the cause of it? Or you could say, why do you think it is? Yeah. So those two questions, the first one is what makes you say that. Second is why do you think it is, and what is the cause of it? Or yeah, what do you think is going on? Well, going on, yeah, it's kind of also investigation question. Going on, or cause of it a little bit more precise, but I think it's nice to have a little bit more open kind of going on. So as a result, guys, please, right now, let's brainstorm, use our imagination, and let's imagine what our client potentially could say. Yeah. After you ask your client that particular question, why do you think it is? Why do you think he ignores what you say? Or why he is arguing? And so on, so on. Yeah. Please take your time and give us some answers of our imaginary client, just for us to have some food to work with. But I'm sure in your real situations, in your real coaching sessions, there will be plenty of kind of interesting material to work with. So the client says he cancels meetings and listens to other people. He cancels meetings and listens to other people. This is the cause. Okay, so that's interesting cause. If I ask why he ignores what you say, and the client says he cancels meetings and listen to other people. Okay, yeah, it's clear. So, for example, when you appointed some time with him to talk, and he's instead of listening to you, he's canceling all the kind of meetings with you, and actually listen to other people and have meetings with them. And as a result, you feel like he is ignoring you, and so on and so on. Okay, that's clear. He is thinking about other things. He has fixed, he has some particular or fixed ideas. Okay, perfect. He is not up to the job. Okay, that's already another powerful statement. Olivia, you're coming with the gems, yeah? Okay, so I'm not sure if it's the cause. Yeah, maybe he's not up to the job. I mean, because he is not up to the job, He's never listening to me. He's ignoring, what I'm saying. I mean, he's always arguing with me about the job, and he doesn't understand me. So that you see that if you put all those three parts together, that's we have a full belief statement. So we have a statement which has a cause effect part, I don't know, because he's not up to the job, for example, or because he's thinking about other things, or because my boss has some fixed ideas, he never listened to me, and he's arguing with me about our work, and he doesn't understand me. So he's not listening to me and arguing, that's a cause effect, and that means to me that he doesn't understand me. That's already value and criteria, because understanding is obviously one of values which you right now kind of brought on the table. But the real cause of it, that he has fixed ideas. So that's, you believe, is the cause of the whole thing. Yeah. So right now we have a full belief statement, and what in reality happens when in a real coaching situation, people, our clients, they give us just tiny bit of the whole statement. That's why I always kind of advise people or coaches not to jump immediately into the reframing, not to jump immediately into the attempt to find solutions, but stay with your client and investigate that limiting belief area. Investigate more by asking more questions. So because usually you have just piece of the whole puzzle. And even now, guys, after we worked for a while, we ask people, our clients several questions. Now we have the full statement. Does it really mean that investigation is over? Guys, what do you think? Is our investigation over, or we could dig deeper? What do you think? No, it's not over. I agree. Jen, Caroline, Yvonne, yeah, it's not over, because we have more options, guys. When you have certain particular belief, usually those beliefs are coming, as a herd, as a pack of wolves. I don't know, as a cluster. So those beliefs somehow connected one to another, and we already have almost like example of that. Do you remember Olivia came with some statement? Where is it? He doesn't, because there was some, he's always putting me down. Well, to be honest, it's putting you down. It's also value and criteria. It's not exactly evidence. I'm not even sure. What does it mean? What does it mean, putting you down? In which way? What is the evidence? How? What makes you say that? What does it exactly mean? If you could explain it to other people, putting you down, it's kind of value. It's criteria. Yeah, it's not exactly evidence. And so as a result, you see, we almost accidentally come up to the next belief, or belief which is connected with this particular belief. So what would be the way for us to dig deeper? Okay, makes me feel small. My ideas are worthless. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Jen, thank you. So that's another. So as a result, we are moving towards other beliefs which are deeply connected with this particular one. And the way to do it, guys, there are two ways to do it. So the first way is to use the same questions, but for example, right now we have that particular structure, but what if we move this particular way? Okay, let me make that arrow red. So you could, oh, not red, but even like, okay, this one. Okay, what if we move into this direction? How can we move into the right direction? If you have that particular statement and the guy, your client said, boss doesn't understand me. So what do you think, what kind of question would allow us to move even further to the right? Could you please type? Before we ask question to move to the left, yeah, to the evidence and causes. What if we move to the right? What kind of question we could ask? Is anyone typing? So far, I don't see anything. Ah, okay, okay, Jen, okay. What does this mean to you? Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's exactly what you're supposed to ask. When you're in the meaning area, you could ask about meaning, 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 and meaning. Yeah. And then you will see if there is any opportunity also to check with that new meaning another cause effect. But right now, in order to move to the right, we need to ask about one more meaning. So the boss doesn't understand you. So what does it mean to you? Yeah. Or so what's next? Yeah. If he doesn't understand you, then what? So it's very interesting to investigate that, okay, let's say he doesn't understand you. But for different people, it could mean lots of different things. You have no idea. For one person, it's just, oh, then definitely I need to, I need to quit that job. If boss doesn't understand me, there is no way I can work with him. And for another person, they, oh, if boss doesn't understand me, I need to make additional effort and find, some kind of way to communicate with my boss. I mean, whatever means to that client, you never know unless you ask the question. Yeah? Exactly. So what does it? Okay, does make sense, guys? What I'm saying. So in order to move to the right, we need to ask again about meaning, because that we are in the end related to meaning. And even person told you something, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the end of the chain. Yeah, we need to ask more about meanings. And tell me please if you would like to elicit more information in relation to this particular direction. Yeah, if you would like to go deeper here, what kind of question we could ask? If person told you, the client told you, my boss, fixed on some ideas, and he has some kind of fixed ideas. So what can you ask in order to dig deeper into the left? Could you please type? I would like to see if anyone is typing. So far, I'm not quite sure. Let me see. How do you know this is making you feel bad? How do you know this is making you feel bad? That's an interesting question. It's not exactly elicitation of the belief structure, but, well, yeah, I would call that particular questions like more like reality check. What I mean by reality is that, when people say, I feel bad, and we need to clarify and ask, what does he mean really by feeling bad? I mean, how does he know? And yeah, that's another thing. But in terms of belief structure, we are going about certain particular relationship of elements, yeah, cause effect, or evidence, meaning, yeah, evidence value. How do you know he wants to hurt you? Well, I mean, he didn't necessarily told you that he hurt. I mean, he doesn't understand. Yeah. So we need to really clarify if for example, if person doesn't understand him, does it hurt? Because if it does, yeah, then probably. But maybe your client has a very kind of different feelings about that. If someone doesn't understand him, maybe he has a very different feeling. So in order to go to the left, I would ask more question related to cause. For example, if your client said, my boss has a fixed ideas, I would ask him, and what do you think is the cause of that? Or why do you think it is? So we are digging deeper into the left by asking questions about cause, asking why, or we are going more to the right, and as a result, we are going more into the direction of meanings and values and criteria. Yeah. And let me just remove. Let me see if I can remove annotations. Oh, it's interesting. Somehow when I click on the annotation cross, it's not really, okay, it moved. Now I can move with the presentation. Perfect. Guys, does it make sense so far? When we are talking about cause effect or meaning type of connections inside of belief structure, so it's kind of easy for us to always to investigate. Whatever your client, talks about, you could easily say where you are, and you know what kind of elements are missing. And we could easily play maybe with let's do it very briefly. We could play with one more statement because we just used Olivia's statement. Let me just go back. Let me see. I never have the time. Okay, I think we are here. The first one, my boss doesn't understand me. And for example, Caroline, change is very uncomfortable and hard. So let's say the change is uncomfortable and uncomfortable and hard. So let's play with that. What do you think where we are when person said change is hard? Could you please use your drawing tools or just type where we are in the belief structure? Just let's spend maybe 2 more minutes just for me to make sure that you understood the material which we just covered. It is totally essential for you to understand it, because in the future when we talk about reframing, you need to have the very clear understanding what belief structure is, how to elicit missing points, how to find belief clusters, how to determine the element where you need to go for intervention or reframing if you choose that particular type of intervention. Let me see what you are typing. The change is hard, meaning, value. Okay, perfect. Meaning. Great, guys. I agree with you. The hard, and it's definitely in the area of values or meaning. The change, values, and criteria, meaning. That's where we are. So the first question would be, again, could you please type? I'm sorry, I'm training you like, not like a dogs, but I'm sure I'm training you just to refresh again the same questions, just for you to have like almost like an instinct immediately. Someone told you the change is hard. So what would be the natural quick question immediately? What does it mean to you? Well, okay, if you ask what does it mean to you, you're moving even further to the right. I would like first to elicit that connection, which usually is supposed to have, in order to have a full structure. I would move not to the right, to the left. What makes you say that? Or in which way it's hard? In which way? Well, the person would be, yeah, probably it will tell you something related to evidences. What exactly does it mean? Yeah, being hard. But I would go directly. Yeah. How do you know? How do you know? Or what makes you say that the change is hard? So that's how do you know. We would immediately move into the evidences. He's supposed to prove and tell you on which evidences he based his conclusion. And he will come up, well, I tried to quit smoking, 500 times. Yeah, that's going to be evidence. Yeah, I tried to make any kind of changes in my life. I tried to wake up earlier and I failed 20 times. Well, that's evidence. And that's the reason why he said, he made a conclusion, or he connected meaning with that previous experience, that the change is hard. Now we moved into the values and criteria type of part of belief. And right now, if you're eliciting the part of the belief statement, will sounds like, because I tried to wake up earlier, 100 times. I tried to quit smoking, 20 times in my life. I failed, and that's why, the change is hard and uncomfortable. Yeah? So we have that particular part. So the next question for you would be to move even further to the left, would be, what kind of question, guys? Type in, please. Oh, can you give me some more examples? Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. That's exactly the same question. Good. So what makes you say that? Or give me more examples. Great. Or what's happened? What's happened? Well, okay, what's happened? It's again, it's very broad. Well, yeah, what's happened? Kind of very open, very broad type of question. It's a good one, but people could go all over the place. But yeah, I mean, if you are going for elicitation of the belief statement, I would ask you to have two questions in your toolbox. Yeah, what makes you say that, or give me more example, or why do you say that? And the next question, when we go into the cause area, why do you think it is? Why do you think it is? Yeah. So I tried to quit smoking and I failed. Why do you think it is? Why do you think you tried to quit smoking and failed? Why? And now we will be digging to the cause. And the person could say, okay, let me think what he could say. Um, um, Guys, if you have any ideas what person could say when he said, I tried to quit smoking 20 times and I couldn't, and we ask, what do you think is the cause of that, and or why do you think it is? And he could tell, because I have no will. Yeah, okay, let's say it like this. The person could say, because I have no will power, I tried to quit smoking 20 times, so the change is really hard. Now we have full belief statement. We have all three elements in place. We have cause, because I have no willpower. We have evidence and effect. I tried to quit smoking 20 times and I failed. And we have a meaning type of connection. So the change is hard. Yeah? Oh yeah, I don't have, yeah, exactly. I don't have self-control. That could be cause as well. Yeah. So because I don't have self-control, and I tried to quit smoking 20 times and I couldn't. So the change is really hard and uncomfortable. Yeah, uncomfortable. So that's the whole belief statement. And again, here we could go deeper to the left, asking, and why do you think it is? Or so what is the cause of that you don't have a self-control? Why do you think you don't have self-control? Why? Or we could go to the right. So the change is hard, and what does it mean? So let's say the change is hard. Then what? It's very interesting what person will say. They could say 100 different things. For different people, it could mean different things. So as a result, we will be eliciting the clusters, yeah? The clusters of beliefs. Yeah? So please pay attention to the screen. I think you're supposed to see those questions. How do you know that? Tell me, please, guys, how do you know that? What we are eliciting here? Which part? Could you please type? Evidence, perfect. Caroline, great. Cause, not sure. Jen, not sure. We are moving into the direction of cause, but how do you know that? Well, actually, to be honest, I mean, we could use this question when person already stated the evidence, and we could say, how do you know that? It could be also a cause question as well. So actually, that's actually true. And but more precise question, like second one, you see, what causes it to be that way? Yeah, so that would be directly cause. But I would say if someone stated the evidence, or what makes you say that, or how do you know that, and person, for example, ask or tell you some kind of evidence statement, and you could ask again, and how do you know that? And in this case, you will move to the cause, type of answer. Or you could ask, why do you think is that, or what causes it to be that way. So as a result, all those questions will be moving us towards left, left, and left. Yeah. So first we are eliciting evidences and effects, and then we move to the cause. Yeah? And after we have the whole belief statement, then I would spend more time and dig for all other statements or beliefs which are connected with this particular statement. Okay, guys, any questions right now? I decided to go through that material in a very thorough way, at least with the 2 examples, for you just to have some kind of clarity. Of course, the full clarity will come when you start practicing and when you start applying this particular kind of structure of belief for you to work through with the real clients. Every time when your client says something, I would like immediately you to kind of see what you have. Okay, Yvonne, I have another one. How about when a client says, I need to have a concrete goal to work on, because just doing what makes me feel good, happy, seems so meaningless. Well, he does just what makes him feel good. Well, he's kind of very advanced guy. I mean, it's very few people really do just what feel make them feel good. There are a lot of things we do out of obligations, out of duties, out of because it's our job, because there are lots of stuff. So he already in a very specific place. He does just what makes him feel good. Okay, and he's not happy about that. All right. Okay, he doesn't know what he wants to do. Well, okay, so right now, guys, okay, so it's a little bit out of scope of our session today about our investigation of belief system. But yeah, let's brainstorm, guys. Let's use our collective mind power, and we all coaches here. So you have question which Yvonne is asking. So what gonna be your opinion? I would like to everyone express your own opinion, and I could easily will tell mine, but I don't want to influence everyone with certain particular kind of direction. I would really curious about what other coaches will tell. He needs more clarity. Okay, obviously, I agree with Alif. He doesn't know what to do. And somehow, amazingly, he thinks that when he moves into the direction when he feels good, it's not enough. That's what I understood, if I understood Yvonne correctly. Somehow he's not really, he thinks that just doing and moving into direction which makes him feel good is not good enough, because he couldn't find any particular goal there, which like a meaningful goal. Okay, Jen, I'm curious what is meaningless to you. Okay, that would be a good question. I agree, Jen. So first of all, to investigate what does it mean for him that something is meaningless or have no meaning? Why what he does has no meaning? What does it mean, have no meaning? And what would be what would mean for him if something has meaning? How he would define? What is the distinction between meaningless, something meaningless, and something has a meaning? So that would be quite interesting topic to investigate. Otherwise, you don't have their criteria. You don't have, their values and criteria behind those words. It would be probably tricky to satisfy, and find solution. Anyway, the rule of the thumb, Yvonne, not to move into the solution zone unless you investigate here everything. And for example, Jen suggested, first of all, to clarify, to make a reality check, with his particular term, particular word, meaningless. Yeah. Okay. So next one, Caroline, explore the connection between happiness and meaning. Yeah, perfectly well. So because it's kind of curious a little bit situation, because when he does what makes him feel good, seems like by default he's supposed to be happy, because he does things which makes him feel good. So it seems to me that feeling good and happiness is not the same. In this case, we really need to clarify what happiness is, because feeling good obviously is not happiness for him. Again, we need to clarify the terms and criteria. Otherwise, we could, we cannot really move him into the solution zone unless we are clear. Yeah. So we need to elicit his beliefs about happiness and about meaningless. Yeah. Ivan, he's procrastinating making decisions, and go for it. Well, yeah, I mean, procrastinating making decisions, it seems like decisions about what? I mean, I think the first thing we need to do is to make very clear what has meaning, what doesn't have meaning, what happiness is in his own values and criteria. And after we are clear with that, then we could probably have a hint where we could, have an intervention and where we need some kind of reframing techniques to apply. So first I would go for investigation of his beliefs regarding happiness and meaningless. And Olga, what concrete goal, yeah, exactly, means to you? Yeah, connection between meaningless, and what does it mean, concrete or mean, like a concrete goal? Yeah, obviously somehow he believes that all what he does without formulating that as a goal has no concrete value, a kind of meaningless. Maybe maybe eventually you will need to reframe something which he does, and in order to shape it as a goal-like statement. I mean, yeah, there are many, it's difficult to talk without client here, but at least we could, at least some kind of, to make a hint what potentially you could do. I agree with Caroline, I agree with Olga, I agree with Jen, and with Olivia that we need to move forward and first of all to check reality check and to check his beliefs and belief clusters related to meaning, happiness, meaningless, and concrete. Then it would make sense. Then after that it will be clear where to move forward. Yeah. Doing things that he thinks is useless. Yeah, to part of the bigger picture. Okay, guys, I'm pretty much aware I am holding you already more than 3 minutes above our time. And again, please don't be disappointed that we are not moving into the reframing stuff, because believe me, it's as soon as you are clear with the belief structure, as soon as your ears instantly can hear what kind of connection, what kind of part of belief your client already stated, as soon as you have almost like an instinctive part that, okay, there are some parts I'm missing, I need to ask, what makes you say that? What is the evidence of that? And what is the cause of this? And so as soon as you start almost instinctively, immediately clarify areas around that, I think it's a great habit. As a coach, you will be much more powerful in terms of offering, eventually moving people into the solution zone, because you will be doing a lot of investigation before you will pick up some area for intervention. So first part, what we'll be doing, and right now we've done already, is that investigate the belief structure. Next one, what in the next webinar, what we'll be going through, we'll be defining what limiting belief is, how to determine limiting belief, how to find them, how to choose among certain particular cluster of beliefs, what is the limiting one, how to assess limiting beliefs, and how to assess certain particular statement in order to pinpoint certain particular areas where limiting beliefs are hiding. Yeah, so we will be investigating that particular area, and next webinars will be applying reframing techniques. And there are lots of powerful reframing techniques we will be going through. So I'm gonna just show you, for example, briefly, I'm gonna stop share, and I'm gonna share another, let's see, this one. Oh, somehow I don't see. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. So I'm gonna show you briefly. Yeah, for example, this particular thing we will be searching in the next webinar. We'll be applying certain particular technique in order to search for limiting beliefs. Yeah. So that's gonna be one of the things, and which we'll be going through how to search limiting beliefs. And in terms of reframing patterns, we will be using material which Robert Dilts published in his book, Sleight of Mouse, and he come up with 14 reframing patterns based on 4 reframing strategies. So we will be going very thoroughly through all the reframing patterns, all examples of those patterns. We'll be practicing it. You're going to have some tiny, small, I would say, home assignments between our live sessions. So that's going to be a plan for us to move forward in the next webinar. So on a weekly basis, every Thursday, the same time, 8 p.m. UK time, we'll be going through all that reframing material. And everything starts now from the belief structure. Yeah. All right. Does it make sense, guys, so far? What we've done, what we'll be doing in the next webinars? Okay. In this case, yeah. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, I will send you recordings of this particular webinar to your mailbox. Please pay attention to registration for our next webinar next Thursday. Each Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time, there will be Headway Lab coaching direction webinar. And we will be covering lots of cool materials, and we'll be practicing. And please stay in touch. I will be sending you all some kind of small home assignment. I will invite you to the Trello board where people who would like to practice, conversational reframing, all that stuff, we'll be working together and going through home assignments. So please pay attention to my communication through emails. All right? Okay, Olivia, Caroline, Olga, Diana, Jen, Yvonne, thank you very much for your time, and see you next week in our Headway Lab coaching direction practice room. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Have a great week.